Hi, I'm Joy Harris, and today I'm making cheese puffs from Jack Harris Unwrapped. But there's one difference from the recipe in the book that I'm changing. I'm using Cuban bread instead of regular bread, but I'll get to that in just a minute. Right now I want to show you how to make the spread for this recipe. It calls for 6 ounces of whipped cream cheese. Now you could buy 2 3-ounce packages and whip it yourself, or a 12-ounce container of whipped cream cheese and just use half of it. And that's what I have in here. If you wanted to double the recipe and use the whole 12 ounces, just double all the ingredients. Because if you're using Cuban bread, which is 3 feet long, you're going to have plenty of spread for the whole loaf of bread. But this original recipe uses white bread and doesn't make as many appetizers, so that's why you need just 6 ounces of whipped cream cheese. And that's what I have in the bowl here. To that, add 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 1/4 teaspoon of liquid hot pepper sauce. It's about 1/4 teaspoon. It's not going to make them real hot, it's just going to make the flavors pop out. And speaking of flavors, a tablespoon of chopped chives. Now, the chives will add a little flavor, but most of the flavor is going to come from some onion that I'll be grating in here in just a minute. Let me go ahead and get the tablespoon of chopped chives. Now, I grew these chives in my herb garden, and I just go out there and pick a bunch of them, come in, rinse them off, remove the ones that don't look so good, and just snip them into the dish rather than chopping them up separately with a knife. It makes it a whole lot easier, and the recipe goes a lot faster. And speaking of fast, this recipe's almost done. And then a teaspoon of grated onion. The onion, you don't need a lot, but the onion is what gives it a really good flavor, and like I said, the chives gives it a little bit of color. Now, these ingredients need to be blended together. Oh, you can smell that onion? It smells so good. And once the chives are evenly distributed through here, because you can kind of look through it and see that there are no clumps in there, then go ahead and stir in 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. And the mayonnaise is really what makes these cheese puffs, because by using mayonnaise with the cream cheese, it helps it puff up when you bake it in the oven. So once all these ingredients are mixed together, and there are no lumps of cream cheese in there, which with the whipped cream cheese, it's very, very easy just to blend it all together. You're ready to spread it on your bread. The original recipe called for white bread. And you take a piece of white bread and you cut out a 1-inch round and then spread it with the cream cheese and then bake those. One of the reasons I didn't like that is there was so much waste after you cut out the 1-inch round. But by using Cuban bread, you just cut like a 1/2 inch off, 1/2 inch slice or less, and there's no waste. And I had some leftover Cuban bread one day, and I thought, I'm going to try it with this spread and see how it tastes. Because the white bread is a mild bread, as we all know, and so you just really get to enjoy the flavor of the cheeses and the chives and the onion. It works beautifully with Cuban bread. So not only does it taste great, there's no waste, and I'm almost ready to put these in the oven. All I have to do now is spread each one of these with about a couple of teaspoons of the cream cheese spread. And you just spread one side. And don't forget to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, because these go in the oven for about 15 minutes. And I just happen to have a batch that I took out of the oven a few minutes ago. Let me show them to you now. When I make these, I like to serve them with sliced green apples. And so when I put them out, I like to show that the green apple, because it just looks so pretty with these. And the shape of the Cuban bread is so nice, and it just makes it look like you did a lot more work than you actually did. They're ready to serve. Cheese puffs, but I used Cuban bread this time, from Jack Harris Unwrapped.